of course it's Tim Hortons. What was that? Like
It's Canadian, very
representing
Canadian.
yeah, that's funny. But you were saying that like you watched these interviews like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's kind of like surreal to be on the show. Is that right?
Absolutely. I used to, well, when I was in college and I only graduated not too long ago. I mean, when I first started watching, or I first started my agency, I used to watch these and like it seemed like insane that these people they made it. Like they actually are making
Yeah.
money online. You know, they have the business that they want to have and like they're not working some crappy job that they don't want to work at. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you feel like you've made it, or you've realized how far you have to go?
No, I like being in
Not
my
even
spot
close.
now. Not even close. Like understanding that doing like 15 grand a month in a business is like realistically nothing, like business wise. It's
Yeah.
not that much money. It's not that many clients. It's not that much work. It's a lot of work to get to that point, but like now that like you're kind of here, it's like it just seems kind of normal and not very blown out of proportion, I guess.
I remember when Becker did his first $10,000 a month. And I'm like, Becker, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go to sleep. It's just going to be a normal everyday type of thing. He's like, no, that's not true. I'm going to put it all on the table and I'm going to have like hookers that blow and it's going to be awesome. I'm at the Lamborghini. I was like, you watch. It's going to be, when you get there, it's going to be no big deal. You said something really smart, which is it took a lot of effort to go from 0 to 1, right? And now you're realizing that now that you're here, maintenance is really not that hard, right? Like now that you got it, you're like, why did it take so long in the first place? Is that right?
That's 100% right. I mean, things have been for the past month have been really coasting, and like, I mean, once you're here, like, unless you're just gonna like let the business just fall apart and not show up to work, like it's from what I've experienced so far, it's hard to kind of go down. And
Yep.
I'm predicting that going from like the 15 to 30 is going to be much easier than it was going from the 0 to the 15 or even 0 to the 5.
That is like the weirdest part, by the way. Like 0 to 10 is the hardest you've ever tried to figure out in your, it's like an internal fight with yourself. You're like, I'm going to click on every YouTube ad there is. I just want to be distracted. I want all the reasons why it can't work, right? Like you've been there and we'll talk about that. But going from 15 to 30 is the most boring, monotonous, just keep doing the same shit. You know what to do, right? Send some emails, have some conversations, throw them into your system, right?
Yep.
And it's a struggle, man. It's weird because like it's a totally different person. Like you're young, you're excited, you're like there's so many opportunities, your brain flares in every different direction. And going from 15 to 30 or more accurately 15 to 50 is like, damn, man, I just got to keep going to the gym. Do you think that's going to be the case, or do you think it's going to be like a whole different experience for you?
I think 50K, and maybe I'm just wrong because I'm not there yet, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a bit more complicated because that's probably when team members need to come into play.
Yep.
Because 50K is probably like 20, 25 clients. And with how things are running, I mean, it's me and a VA right now.
Yep.
So I got a feeling that, I mean, I'm only at like, I think right now I have like maybe 8 or 9 clients.
Mhm.
If I'm doubling, tripling that, I don't think just me, unless I'm going to be working like 14-hour days, which is, I didn't quit my job to work 14-hour days. So I don't want to
Didn't quit my job to get another job. No, thank you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you just got to get another VA and another VA. That's it. You can run your $500,000 a year, 80% margin business with you and 3 virtual assistants.
Definitely. And I'm still not 100% because I know how you feel about the account managers.
Yeah. It's okay. You're allowed to have one, but I kind of hate it. Yeah.
I might have to have one just to do it and then say, no, Jeff was right.
Yeah.
I don't need that yet, but I think when it gets to like probably like 20 clients, I mean, I could probably still manage it, but like it'll just take my time away from everything else, and it's probably not worth it. We'll see.
Is it weird for you to be saying, I not only make more money with my side gig, it actually allowed me to quit my full-time job, and now I could probably double or triple. Is that weird to say that? Because like your background isn't like entrepreneurship and business. You came from like a full-time, normal everyday job. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll start like straight from the beginning.
Yeah.
Basically, high school, I knew I wanted some big fancy job. I thought it was a job that I wanted. I didn't know what it was, and I was always like good at school, like A grades, and everyone was like doctor, dentist. It's like, I'm not
Lawyer,
going to school
accountant,
for like 10
attorney.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gave it a shot. I was going to do pharmacy. That didn't really work out. It just wasn't me. And then was kind of lost. So about a year into college, I got halfway into pharmacy, didn't make it all the way. And now I'm just kind of like, holy crap, I didn't even know what I wanted to do in the first place. Now what do I do?
When you say you
And
didn't make it, were you like, I'm doing well, but I hate this, or like I'm failing out type of relationship?
so with basically with pharmacy here, there's like,
Yeah.
it's very competitive. They only take like 40 seats a year
Mhm.
out of probably like 500, 600 applicants. So like there's multiple steps into like the process of getting in. And I got basically to the last step of like the interview process. And I mean, they still interview like 100, I think 150 people.
Yep.
And I wasn't one of the 40. So that's like,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I'm
Was
I'm glad it wasn't.
was that like a I'm not good enough, my life is coming to an end, everything is the worst in the world, just exit, just I'm gonna go live on a beach type of realization for you?
At that point, it was kind of like it was a kick because it was like I was just excelling at school and like it wasn't like for me like not to like achieve some sort of academic success that I planned on succeeding.
Mhm.
So it sucked, but at the same time, like if I was 100% into what I was actually studying in that first year of university, I
Yeah.
truly think I could have gotten in, but I was like 70% in. Like I
Gotcha.
was 70% there and I
Yeah.
just wasn't me.
Yeah. I know that feeling. I repressed that feeling since graduating my undergrad, and then I got a master's, and then I
Mm.
was in Chicago, and then I got an MBA. So it was like an additional 8 years of going, I hate this. This is the worst thing in the world. This isn't. It felt like a caged lion type of thing. Like you want to go do stuff, and all you could do is touch the glass. Like that's what it felt like. And I think a lot of people are more. I think there are a lot more people in that bucket than were culturally allowed to communicate.
I 100% agree. And
Yeah.
I won't spend too much time on this, but so after the pharmacy, I was like, business piqued my interest. I went to
Mhm.
business school. I was going to do accounting, did a few work terms in accounting,
Yep.
realized that it was absolutely not for me once
Also
again.
sucks.
So I was basically, while doing these work terms and in school, like, so it was like work term for 4 months, school for 4 months. I was like searching for this way to like not have to do that basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tried drop shipping, like played around with a few things. Started this, I'd say, late 2020. It's probably
Yep.
2 years, and sucked for about a year and a half, and then finally graduated, got a job. It was a good job, good job.
Oh, so
According to everyone else.
you're still like in the matrix while dabbling with a way to get out. Is that right?
Not so right now, no. But so in school, I realized I do not want to have like a full time job working for another company, no matter how great it is.
Yeah.
And but once I graduated, I gave it a shot. I maxed out my credit cards, like legit. I bought a few coaching programs. Yours was the second one I bought,
Yeah.
and that was like the big difference maker for me. But yeah, I mean, I was at zero. I mean, I had like $15,000 in credit cards racked up. Um, so I was like, I guess I got to get a job. I got a degree, so I got this good job, and then I
Yeah.
still the whole time working there, I was like, I got to keep trying to get out of the matrix. Really,
With your full-time job, were you working from home or you had to go to an office? Or what did that look like?
I had to go to an office, but it was like, I mean, probably like a 7 minute drive from my house, so it wasn't like too bad.
Yeah. So you could only do agency. I mean, when you and I talked way back in the day, that was the big challenge. And I was like, you could like side gig it, you could weekend warrior it, you could put in the hours, and it's going to suck until one day it doesn't. Was that like a huge impediment for you, like launching your agency? Did you think that was like a problem that wasn't really a problem? Or did you have all these clients saying, I would love to spend money with you, but I need to call you at 2 p.m. and you can't pick up and now you're a failure? Like, was that really a hurdle or you just thought it was?
The biggest hurdle was sales calls mainly.
Mm,
My clients, I have the expectations that like you don't call my cell and I pick up, and you know what I mean? Like it's like I'll help you, I'll get back to you. It's not going to take a whole lot of time, but like send me a message, I'll get back to you.
yep.
But I was kind of blessed in a sense that so I live basically in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
Eastern Canada, as eastern as you can go. We have our own time zone, is how far away we are from everything, right?
So
So
it's not even EST. It's something totally different.
It is literally called Newfoundland Standard Time. It's its own thing. It's an hour and a half ahead of Eastern Standard Time.
That's so funny.
So I'd get off work at like 4. Technically, it was still like 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. So that wasn't so bad. But once basically summer ended, my schedule changed to a later time.
Mm.
It was kind of tough because you're trying to basically get people like getting out of their practice for probably 7-8 hours to then get on a sales call instead of like doing it at like a lunch or a break.
Yep.
And just overall, like working 8 hours at a job that like you're okay with, but like it's not what you want to do, to then have to come home and manage a house plus obviously trying to build this thing. It's like it's hard, but I did it for like 3 months. And I said, if I had 3 months in a row, good months, I'll quit the job. I can always get the job back, but this is an opportunity.
Tell you what, it is this weird like emotional exhaustion. Like the 8 hours of, I guess, the fluorescent lights or the drudgery of it. You effectively worked 2 jobs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough. That's pretty tough.
Sorry.
So at what point in like this agency journey did you get like your first, I mean, everyone remembers their first client, right? It was like the first time you're like, holy shit, it could work. And I don't mean like the drop shipping sale. Like that doesn't really count. Like 10% margins don't count, right? So like in this version of your agency with, and I'm not going to share your niche, your industry, you can if you want, but some people aren't kosher with it. So like, what was like that first breaking point of like, holy crap, I made it. I got my first sale. I got my first client. Like when did that happen for you and what that look like?
Yeah. So first client, was probably about 2 years ago this month. It was from a Facebook group. I got introduced like to this whole digital space. Shared it to Jacob Trask. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's the one who kind of got me into it, and he was in this Facebook group, and it was like a medical spa niche Facebook group. Someone was looking for Facebook ads, and he was like, "Listen, like you go get the client. I know how to run the ads, and I'll run the ads for you, and you pay me like $200." Fine. Cool. So I got this client, $500 a month. 500. But to me at the time, I was like, wait a minute, like this actually like works. Like, yeah, this is nothing, but like this is something. Like
it's proof.
It is proof. So that was first ever client, and then that's how it got started, really.
So did you just like send them a message saying like, yo, let's do this? Or did they look you up first? Like what was that client selling conversation like? Because yeah, we got demos, right? But we also have sales calls. We also have just creep on my profile and let me know when to send the pay funnels link. So like, what did that sales demo process look like for you?
It was, I'm trying to remember exactly how it went down, but it was like a DM. Like, so like this lady posted in a Facebook group and she was awesome. I mean, I still talk to her off and on like to this day. She was just simply posted in this Facebook group, and you can imagine the comment section was like 30 marketing agencies like, hey, I can help. I can do this. I guess I just messaged her and I was like, hey, like I can do this. And she's like, cool. Like, what can you do? And I told her I can get like leads basically through lead forms. And she's like, okay, well, how much do you charge? And we were talking like, I think it was on Zoom at this point. And I was like, $500 a month. I want it to just be like easy. And me saying 500, I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of money.
Oh,
like,
so you saying that to her, you were even hesitant about that low price.
Absolutely. Gotcha. I've never had a sales call in my life. $500 to me, I was in college at the time. $500 to me was like insanity. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, wow, like that's way cheaper than everyone else. Like, I'll give it a shot. And I was like, crap, I should have went higher, but it's all good.
It's like, thank you, but I hate you, but thank you.
Yeah. So that was that. I mean, she stayed for a few months. Her business, it was like kind of a weird, it's like cryotherapy. And there are parts to cryotherapy, like the body contouring, which are super profitable and high margin.
Yep.
And then there's the rest of it basically that's not.
Yep.
And I got her probably, I don't know, like maybe 30 new clients for that month. And I think she ended up making from that like maybe $1,000, $2,000. And then I was like, that's when I was like, okay, like this works, but like I'm clearly advertising the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And she brought on another agency basically that marketed the expensive stuff.
Yep.
Because they were way ahead of the curve. Well, way ahead of me, anyways.
Yep.
And she's like, hey, Matt, like this is still working, but like I'm just taking the money I'm spending with you and like putting it over here because we're making so much money.
Yep.
And that's kind of when I was like, I finally understood that like the higher ticket things obviously were like what they really wanted.
Yeah. Sell your clients expensive stuff.
That's the famous Jeff quote.
Yeah. Sell your clients expensive stuff. That's it. They're much happier. Even if they don't make a sale, they're like,
Absolutely.
at least we're trying. Right. So
Yep.
was that like a punch in the gut of like, I guess I have to go back? Or was that like really reaffirming that I'm on the right path with just some adjustments?
It was reaffirming, and it's kind of what brought me down like this niche, because I was lucky enough that like we had a pretty good relationship. Even though my product sucked, I mean, like her staff were calling like 200 leads a month, and like 10 of them would pick up, like, you know, the drill.
Yep.
She was still like happy, and like she referred me like to another, like one of her friends that were like kind of a different business. And then that person referred me to a medical spa. And that's when I kind of like, I had like 3 completely different businesses. And when I realized kind of where like the money was and what people like, the type of clients they wanted, it's kind of what brought me down like the niche I'm basically still in today.
So John Williams had a very similar journey. When he joined the EIC, he had a hypnotist, something like that. He had a carpet cleaner. He had like 4 or 5 smattering of different clients.
Mhm.
And one day he wakes up and he's like, the only client that I really like working with is the carpet cleaning person. And then he went all in on that. And it sounds like you had the same exact thing, which is you had multiple different clients, different offers, different business, which is just as much as a headache than anyone can imagine, right? And then one day you're like, that's it. Is that what happened? You're like, that's the one? Or was it really like, I hate everybody else, I'm just going to keep this guy?
No, I mean, that was basically it. Because I mean, I had 3 clients. They were all like same medical sort of vibe, but like at the same time, it was 3 completely different services, 3 completely different ads, landing pages, whatever.
Yeah.
So I seen kind of like the amount of money, and like people love body contouring. Like leads had a really good response to it because I mean, majority of women, realistically, middle-aged women want to lose weight.
Yep.
So I was like, well, I'll give this a shot. I went down that path of just basically, I'm going to do this one thing. And this is, I think at this point, probably like a year in, things were really slow just because I was still in university and everything. And like, I wasn't even half in. Like I was just dabbling with this to make a bit of pocket change, basically. And so I dove into that, and it was really good. But like I found personally, like I still didn't have a good product. I was still pushing leads down people's throats, trying to convince them that, oh, it's good. Like you just got to be better at following up, kind of thing.
Which never works out the way you think. It's like just exhausting having that conversation. Yeah.
They're not going to agree. Even if they do agree, they're like, well, like, what do you want me to do? I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, this is all I can do.
You fucking fix it. I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
Basically. And they also had like the thing where like, if I got people to show up, they had like, because the people I was working with, like when you're a small person, like, I mean, I'm still a small agency, but back then, I mean, I have 2 clients. Like I'm not an agency. I'm a freelancer.
Yep.
You get the smaller businesses usually because you're cheaper. So they're going with like the more affordable option. They probably never worked with an agency before.
Yep.
So like you're kind of getting people fresh off the block. That's basically what happened. And even if I got people to show up, like they weren't good at the sales part. They still needed to sell. So even if they could get over the lead part of having to call all these leads and no one's picking up and who is this? Even if I got people in, like they still couldn't even make money from it. Yeah. So basically I stumbled upon a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Who offered one of like basically the same service as the medical spas. And I started working with him, and then I basically found out really quickly that like I wasn't well versed enough to train people how to do sales. I'm not good at it enough myself at this point.
Tell you what, it's not just you, okay?
Yeah.
I can't even figure out how to get a salesperson to sell, okay? It's just so much, but go on, yeah.
That's 100% correct. And but what I realized is like I was like, wait, like this guy can sell. Like he's happy with like what I'm doing, and when they're showing up, like he understands that I still have to do my job. I can't
Mhm.
just pay this guy $1,000 and all of a sudden he's gonna make my business 20, right?
Yep.
Um, so then I kind of switched from medical spas to the chiropractors because I mean they were staying longer, they were happier,
Yep.
and I didn't need to basically try to train them on how to close leads because
Mhm.
they know how to do it.
Was there ever a time in your agency journey where you're like, I'm almost going to quit this damn thing? You're like, I'm just out. I'm just emotionally exhausted. Peace. See you later. Goodbye. My eyes are drained. Everybody hates me. Like, was there ever that, that Seth Godin dip where you're like, this is awesome? And you're like, just kidding. Like, was there ever a time like that for you?
So many times.
You're like, actually, yesterday it was a
Yeah.
good time.
No, I can't do that yet since I just quit my job. I got to at least do it for a little bit. But there was so this at this one point I was still working, and like there's nothing wrong with medical spas. It was just really the type of people I was getting, and I instead of trying to solve their problems, I
Mhm.
basically just made it not my problem or tried to.
Yep.
So I had, and also from the beginning, like I'm not naturally good at sales. I'm not a naturally like great speaker.
Mhm.
Um, I've improved a lot, but like I was basically entering this agency model, and I didn't want to do sales calls.
Yep.
So basically, I hired my friend to do the sales calls. Which I mean, when you're not doing very much money, like, and you're paying someone to close a deal, it's like even less money you're making, right?
Yep.
And basically, I tried to instead of like becoming better myself, I tried to just like kind of pass off like the things I didn't want to do, which was a big mistake. I mean, he was great. It was just like, how can you have a salesperson you're paying if you don't even know how to do sales? Like, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It doesn't make sense. Um, and I mean, he closed this deal. It was like a 3 month agreement, and it was like 5 grand.
Mhm.
And at this point, it's like I'm gonna do like I think we did like 7 grand that month or something like that, Canadian. And I was like, holy crap! Like this is amazing. And then after 1 month, she charged back,
Oh, fuck.
and I was like,
Ah.
holy. That actually, so after 1 month, she wanted a full refund. And at
Mhm.
this point, I mean, I had credit cards like max. I was like I physically couldn't give her a refund. Like I
Yeah.
literally couldn't have if I wanted to. And I was like, listen, like you just got to give it 3 months. Like give it some time, it'll work out. And basically, we gave it another couple weeks. She was pissed. She was like texted me like swearing, like you're the worst. I'm gonna tell people. And then she charged back, and I was like, holy crap! Like this is it. Like I can't do this. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even have the money to pay her back. Um, that was this close
Yeah.
to.
Just hanging up the hat and saying I'm done.
I was basically just like I had myself convinced like it wasn't for me. Like this business model is not for me.
Mhm.
Instead of just like would have been much easier if I just got over it and practiced sales and got more comfortable on the phone, which is what I ended up doing.
Yep.
But at that point, it just that was a tough time.
There are, I mean, in the IC, one of the 4 hour long modules is Eli Wild. And he talks about how it's tone, closing doors, and telling stories. And that's like how he sells. And he did like 12.7, like $12 million, $12,700,000 in 24 hours. And I've never heard him try to hard close anybody. It's just how he talks makes everybody say, like, I want to write you a check. Nowadays, are you selling like that? Are you doing a demo, or have you just said like, oh, I'll figure out selling later? Like, have you solved that challenge or not yet?
I've solved it. I still have some tuning up to do. I'm still not great at sales, but I realize like, and I truly believe like when people come into this space, and even like as they grow a bit, there are people that are good at everything, and I think everyone needs to be decent at everything if you're going to run a business with sales, with fulfillment,
Yep.
with employees, customer service, etc. But I was much better at like the fulfillment side and much more interested in like building a legit like product,
Yeah.
which is the big mistake that I made was instead of actually building a product that these people wanted, I just had this thing I could do, and I was just trying to hard sell it or get someone else to hard sell it for me. And basically that wasn't the right way to do it, right? So
Just shoving
I mean,
Facebook ads or Google ads or TikTok ads in front of people saying buy my stuff.
lead forms to a Google sheet. Here you go. Like
Yeah.
it's so basically I knew like I can get good at sales. And I mean I've gotten much better at sales, but I was very much more interested in like having a good offer and having a good product.
Yeah.
That way, and like I heard someone say this, I can't remember who said it. They basically said like if you're using a sales deck, you're either your product's too complicated or you're not good enough at explaining your product. You shouldn't need 20 slides trying to explain what it is you do.
Yep.
And I got this 100% from you because like up to this point, the previous program I was in was all about selling demo deck, sales, following up the whole 9 yards, and you were very much like, why don't you just build a product and then just tell people what it is and buy it or don't?
No, it can't be that simple. There's got to be some complicated way to do this. Okay.
That's what I thought. I was like, maybe that's just Jeff. Like Jeff is just like he's amazing at this. Like he can get away with that. I can't.
Yeah.
And then like I tried it and like I did some customer research. I seen like what other agencies were doing in the space in terms of like offers and how I guess like how happy their clients were with that.
Yep.
And I mean the Joshua Centers masterclass in the IC.
Yeah.
Majority of everything that I'm going to say is from the IC or from you. Like that's legit.
Yeah.
And I was like, basically did some customer research, watched the masterclass, and I was like, I'll try Jeff's style. Super simple ads. This is what it is. This is the price. And I mean, I remember the first call. I was like, this is going to be so stupid. Like, I'm going to look like a complete idiot.
This can't work. There's no way.
And I did it. And my offer was so good. The product was good. And like, she said yes. And I was just sat there like,
motherfucker.
and it was like 15 minutes and it was my first one. And I was like, she's like, so what's next? And like, I was this close to being like, well, we're going to get on a Zoom call and I'm going to show you. And I was just like, we're going to get on Zoom. I'm going to show you the ads and the system and we're going to sign. Next day, Zoom call, 15 minutes, closed, first client. I was like, holy crap. Like this can't be real. It must be a fluke.
This is cheating. This can't be right. There's got to be a reason this didn't work.
Exactly. Yep.
Is this my mom's friend? Is that what's happening? Is somebody messing with me?
That's literally how I felt. And I mean, I was like, well, maybe it was a fluke. I'll keep running the ads, see what happens. I mean, I wasn't spending a whole lot of money. I didn't have a whole lot of money. And I think I probably got like 5 or 6 people signed on in the first like 6-7 weeks.
Yep.
And I mean,
so one client a week. Yeah.
Basically, I mean, some weeks arguably I get like 2 or 3, and then I wouldn't get one for like a week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what happened. And I was like, I just built a business off doing a bit of customer research, seeing what was working, like what are other agencies doing that's working. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just made it my own variation and stupid simple calls, and here we are.
Man, it's crazy how complicated we like to make it. It's absolutely insane. Like, hey, you know what? There's no way simple could work. I need to go ahead and figure out a very difficult way of making this complicated thing even more complicated. Let me do that. Was there a part of your brain that was like, I mean, I've been talking about stupid simple sales calls, stupid simple ads for a very long time. You've been hearing me talk for a while. How long until it sunk in and you did it? It must have been 6 months, maybe 7 months at a minimum, right?
Do you mean like from the point that like I heard you talk about the stupid simple ads to like
saying, here's a stupid simple ad, stupid simple sales call, do this 15 minutes, maybe 2 15-minute calls. I've been talking about for a while. So how long until like it's sunk in?
So when I joined the inner circle, I was like, this was like peak, like credit cards maxed. I mean, like I had to do something. And like, it was kind of like, I'm going to say, I don't mean it as like a last resort, but it was basically like, if this doesn't work, I don't like, there's nothing I can do. Like, this is it. So when I joined and like, I think around when I joined, I think it was about February, March, I want to say, I think more like March. And I think this was like, when did you start originally talking about like on like Lunch and Learns, the stupid simple like process?
I remember getting my first Stupid Simple Process client maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. I know it was still middle of COVID when I was playing around with it, and then I guess it was like when when Florida was like, see, I told you COVID isn't real. Like Florida had that stance, and then I remember Ron DeSantis talking about, no, the bars will still be open, and I'm like, I don't have the emotional capacity to deal with all of this and complicated demo decks. It was around that time, so maybe a year and a half ago. It was something like that. Yeah.
I think when I joined, and I might be completely off, but you were like, because like you used to charge a lot more, and like then you kind of like went right down to like the 750 or 1,000 or whatever you were doing there.
Yeah.
Because you realized that that's what people wanted to pay. It was a really easy yes, and no need to follow up and try to convince them it's worth the money, kind of thing.
Get paid the same day or next day, so much easier.
Exactly. So, I mean, I was like, I had nothing. Credit cards max. I was like, I'm just gonna try what Jeff says. Like, clearly, what I'm doing isn't working. So I tried it, and I mean, I procrastinated a while because I was still in like, oh, I got to speak to 50 doctors about like what do they want and how I should do it and build this system. I think it was like April, so I was probably in for probably 4 weeks. I said, screw it, ads are going live. We're trying it, and I got my first client. I mean, we went live, I think, like right at the beginning of May. So I mean,
gotcha.
I trusted you from the beginning. I was like, I got to try it.
Yeah. So you were on an agency journey for 2, maybe 3 years. And somewhere on there, you joined the IC and then started doing Stupid Simple. And then that's when it was like, this shit could be real. It could work. It's not a pipe dream. It must have been something like that for you. Is that right?
Yep. So 2 years ago, this month, so November 2020 is when I got that first client, the $500 a month.
Yeah.
I joined the IC probably, I think it was March of this year.
Yeah, we could look you up. I introduced you, right? So like it's there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically the last like 7 months, I guess, or so have been like my whole agency journey is what it feels like. Because before then it was just failure after like this doesn't work. But that was the turning point. Yeah.
I really wish that it didn't have to be like the human experience of doing everything wrong and then finally say I'm going to do it right. But there's something about like you gotta learn through failure or something like that. I really wish that wasn't the case. Like, hey, here's a perfect manual, go do it, and then nobody does it. You're like, this can't be that simple. I gotta have 92 automations. Okay, I gotta have an hour and a half long demo decks. Okay, it must be providing the value. And I feel like I'm always the contrarian with all this. Like, don't do all these like tech heavy stuff. Just communicate clearly and sign people immediately. And I'm very happy to hear you finally came to the dark side. Like, you're like, no, that's just easier. Okay. Very happy to hear it. But the question that everybody's going to be asking and that everybody watching live on the replay is that third bullet point. And I'm going to read it. All right. Which says the strategy he uses to deliver high quality appointments to his clients so they aren't dealing with a low quality lead disaster, because everybody on their agency journey will deal with low quality lead disaster, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, AdWords, whatever it is, right? That's what every client hates. Every agency has different ways of dealing with it. So for us, we have operators that will like filter, qualify. Yes, you have 30 grand to spend. You can talk to somebody. That's not your line of business. You have something totally different. You jumped on the Centers train. You jumped on the Lopez train, right? So what is your solution to deal with low quality leads, filter them out, and only deal with high quality people?
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't want to go like too specific, not because I don't want to like give away any secrets, but simply because like it depends on the niche or the industry. Because like for you, like, so what I do, our ads are very simple. Like it's not like some huge like $30,000 all-on-4s. It's simply just like a first session of body contouring.
Yeah.
And it costs like anywhere between, usually people run ads anywhere between like 30 and $100.
Yep.
So basically join the inner circle, and I started seeing like these master classes on like prepaid appointments.
Yep.
And I was like, there's no way that my ads are going to make someone pay like $100, right? Like,
no, I love that look. I love that look of that would never work. There's no way. Could never be applied to me. All right, but go on. I fucking love when people do that shit. It's so funny.
It is.
Okay, go
And
on.
it's genuinely how I felt, because I was like, you mean to say that like these people aren't like sending people like a Google sheet or like a high level account with like a bunch of leads that left their name, phone number, email? Like they're basically closing the first appointment just on the ads and the landing page.
Yeah.
So to me, like, and it solved everything for me, because I was like, I knew I couldn't just do leads. I knew people weren't going to be happy with that. And I mean, anyone can do Facebook ads and get leads. Like it's 2022. I mean, I think anyone really in this group can do that.
Yep.
So, I mean, I seen that, and that was like the big bottleneck I had was like product sucked, so I couldn't get people to sign on. And then once they did sign on, the product sucked, so I couldn't get them what they wanted.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna try this. It's mine, like basically the same niche. So I'll try it and see what happens. And then it worked. And I was like, holy crap, like this, like now I'm having a conversation with someone saying like, they're like, well, what do you do? It's like, I don't do leads. I do prepaid appointments. I was like,
Bingo.
no one's gonna no show if they're paying $100 before they even enter your office.
Yo,
And
that is such a small sentence, but represents such a huge inflection on your journey.
Mhm.
Now you have an offer and a product that you're proud of, makes sense, is easy to communicate, doesn't require a huge demo, doesn't require a lot of tech. It's what people want. Easy, right? Like for everybody watching, that is an instrumentally massive inflection point, and not just your agency journey, Matt, but most people's journeys. We know what they want. We'll talk about it and do it. That's it. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's basically, that was it. And I was like, so how, even though I know I can do this, and I got my first client as proof, and like I got a bunch of appointments, and that was all great, but I was like, how can I do this? Like, because even if I tell people I can do this, and then I'm like, it's 2,000 a month, there's still like that gap. Well, it's like, that's a good product, but like, what if it doesn't work? So I quickly realized like I was better on the fulfillment side and actually building an offer that was good than I was at sales. So instead of spending an hour of my time with sales decks and fancy words trying to close someone on giving me $2,000 on the spot, I was very much just so like a performance model. Like, you know, instead of going through all that to try to get them to pay me, I just say, listen, I only get paid if I perform, $0 to start. And that's the easiest yes. And it can't work for every niche, but I think the more you lean towards like having a good offer, it's hard to get people these days to pay a couple grand a month when there's offers like this out there. Right.
Especially when you're starting out, you're brand new, you don't have 100% confidence. Like, there's a fellow in the IC, and I can't share his name. You know who it is. He's lining up for like, I would say anywhere between 25 and 75 medical spa niche type franchise deals. Okay. He has 4 years of experience. All right. He's the first person that they call. He charges $2,000-$3,000 per location per month. It's a huge deal. But he has a long 36-month of performance to go back on. When you don't, it's a lot harder to land a $100,000 a month deal. It's not going to happen, right? But for you, in your case, it took you a whole lot of time to finally figure out, what do you want? What do you want to pay? Okay. And that's it, right? And I think you call it pay per appointment. No, pay for pay. What is it called?
I honestly still haven't really found like a sentence that makes it sound like good.
Yeah.
So I like my ads, I'll do like pay per show, pay per appointment, pay per prepaid appointment, pay per paid appointment, all whatever works. They get the point. When they understand it's nothing up front. They got on the call, and basically I tell them what my ad said, and they're like, okay, cool.
So kind of like when I'm on the sales call, like those recordings, the ad that got you, we're going to run for you. It's the same exact conversation, right?
So where like we're getting people like to commit to like money up front, I don't just do like the big fat Canva ad. But basically the offer is just so good that it's like, you're going to advertise on Facebook, you're going to pay the ad spend anyways. And now I'll do this, what I do, and it works, and you don't have to pay me anything. Like I'll just literally take the money I make from the ads in the funnel. And I mean, any business owner is that has experience is going to say yes to that.
So do you get like more specific, or you say, look, we're going to handle XYZ 1, 2, and 3. And as payment for us to manage this, we only get paid when you collect cash, or they don't even care that far?
No, so I tell them that. I mean, we'll like chat and I'll just like ask them like just kind of like a quick opener, like, you know, what are you doing now for marketing? And I quickly realized like when I had these conversations, there's a couple really big agencies in the space that do good work, but there's a few key things that a lot of people don't like about it.
Mhm.
So I basically it's my variation, but like I took those things they don't like,
Yep.
and I already know what they're gonna say they don't like when we get on the call. Well, they're prepaying too low, like they're paying like $30. I was like, okay, cool. They prepay 90 on my funnel. Oh
Yeah.
my God, really? That's amazing. So basically just get a good product, see what others are doing, and then if you can do what they're doing just a bit better, it's game over, right?
I remember you making a post in the IC group, and there was a woman that complained about quality. Were you charging like 30 or 49? And then you're like, you go sell better. And it's like, oh, I was just fucking up the feed in 97 and everything was okay. Is that what happened?
That was the first client I saw in from like the stupid simple ads.
Yeah.
I got her like a ridiculous number of appointments that month.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that was her feedback, is like she was only closing like 20%.
Yep.
And I just kind of knew from our conversations that like I could probably do a better job, but like it was still like she just didn't have that sales process really in her business. So basically to keep her, I was like, okay, cool. Like we were doing like I think 49. I was like, we'll do 89. That way, like quality will be twice as good. You know, you won't get these people that can't afford it. And we did it, and like she was happy initially, and her close rate didn't go up. It might have went up a little bit, but like it might have went from like 20 to 25%, maybe like something so insignificant. And then I mean, she left ultimately because like at the time I couldn't teach her how to sell.
Yep.
And ultimately that was what was missing. So now like if I have a few different prices I do, the 89, honestly, people usually don't close more from it. It's just when you kind of say that we do 89, so you'll get higher quality people, it's usually like, oh, that makes sense. Like, yeah.
Even though it's not 100% true, but it alleviates that client's fear, and you say, sure, fine, we'll do it. Everybody's happy. That's what you want. Fine, pay me, right?
Exactly. And it's somewhat true because like the close rate does go up like a little bit, but someone paying like 50 versus $90 on Facebook like doesn't mean necessarily that like they're gonna be okay with buying a bigger package, right?
Well, I guess what's going to happen is your 6 and 12-month mastermind is where you'll be teaching these people how to sell and bringing in speakers and training. And for an extra $1,000 a month, we'll show you how to double your numbers with sales processes. Who knows, right? Something like that. But it's really interesting hearing your problem and solution, which is like, all right, fine, we'll just fucking change it. And they're like, oh, thank God. So now you've migrated from retainer, low retainer, salesperson, demo decks to I'm all on product, having a great product, and being the person in charge of product. Like that sounds like where you are with your agency. Is that right?
100% correct. And I'm much more confident now. I mean, like before the inner circle, like the reason I hesitated on the stupid simple ads was because I was doing everything in my power to automate everything and not have to like actually speak with business owners to get money. But
God forbid we talk to people. Unacceptable.
But once you kind of dumb it down, like basically none of that crap matters. Like just talk.
Yeah.
That was turning point, right?
I love it. Did you ever have this like hesitation that there's no way anyone would spend $59 on Facebook? I'd have to get a deposit. I have to do something complicated. Or are you just so tired? You're like, it doesn't even matter. Let's just try it anyway.
Basically, I just tried it. I seen other people doing it. I mean, the masterclass and everything in the inner circle. I knew it was possible. So I was like, you know, worst case scenario, I get this client. And I mean, she's not going to be mad, kind of trying to smear my name that like she paid me $2,000, didn't get anything. Like worst case scenario, she loses a bit of ad spend, no harm, no foul. But I mean, I just tried it, and I mean, it worked. So that was just like big, like revelation was like, holy crap, people I mean, it's almost like ecom.
Yep.
Like, why would I think that someone wouldn't go to a funnel and buy a service for like a brick and mortar business when there's people that buy a couple $100 products straight from Facebook for ecom stores, right?
Yep.
So that was basically once I seen it work, then kind of made sense, I guess.
So now that your product is nailed
Mhm.
and your client communication, offers, sales, conversation, whatever you want to call it, is nailed, and you're at 15,000. No, you were at 11,000, 12,000 with your job and your agency. When did you decide to quit your job? Like, was it because you felt steady with your agency? Was it a money thing? When did you say, peace out, I'm done? Because I was like, I remember you said you quit your job. I was like, holy fuck. Like, that's
Mhm.
fucking cool. So like, what dollars were your agency at to where you said I can finally quit my job and go full time?
So I told myself, because I knew that like once you're in a job, like, and maybe this isn't for everyone, like this doesn't happen for everyone, but like I find it was hard to leave. It was kind of like there was obviously the fact that like you're leaving this job, you're getting a good salary, it's the same amount every month, like you're good, but it's also like having that conversation, I guess, like with managers and stuff, and going through that full process, and like the whole thing was just like I wanted to avoid doing it almost, but I told myself when I started the job, if I did, and at this time it seemed unreasonable. I said, if I
Mhm.
did 3 months in a row where I break 10 grand, like in a row, so I know it's consistent, I'll force myself to leave the job.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted to leave the job, I knew I had to kind of put that in place so that once that did happen, if it happened, then I had to look back and say, like, I said it, so I got to do it.
Yeah.
So first month I did like, and this is Canadian, so bit like first month, I think not the first month in the inner circle, but like the first good month, I did about like 7 grand US,
Mhm.
which was 10,000 Canadian. I was like, holy crap. Okay. So like technically that's month one of that $10,000.
Was
And
it like,
then
oh shit, no man, no, I got a 2 month left, I'm gonna have to quit my job? Like, was there like the fear of success? That must have been part of it, right?
there was it was the fear of having to like actually like follow through. I was like, holy crap. Like, am I actually going to have to quit my job like 4 months into working here? Like that's going to be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I just made 10 grand. And like at this point I still had like credit card debt and everything. And I was like, holy crap. Like,
Mhm.
this was like huge. And then the next month, I just kept doing the same thing, just a bit more added on. And then I think I did like finally did like 10 grand US, which it was about 14 at the time, 15
Mhm.
Canadian. This is without salary. Like this is strictly from agency and referrals and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then last month I did 15 US, so about 21 Canadian.
Holy
And
shit, dude.
I was
Well
like,
done.
it's like, okay. I was like, it's probably like, it's not only is it like 10 grand and staying there, like it's growing.
Yeah.
So like it would kind of be stupid if I kept spending 40 hours at this place when I could just take those hours, put it here and do more, right?
At this point, how many hours a week do you think you're putting into your agency?
Probably it's kind of tough. So I only quit like last week.
Mhm.
And last week I kind of took I'll be honest, I took a bit of a break
Yep.
because I was just kind of like 4 months of doing double job, like 14, 15 hours a day. It was like, I
Yeah.
need a break. Um, there was holes in my, and there still are plenty of holes in my agency, but there were clear things that like people were complaining about,
Yep.
like because my system like it's not as cut as dry like yours, like a live transfer, like just pick up the phone, schedule them. Like there is a system that they need to use in
Mhm.
order to track and for everything to work properly. And basically the whole time I was just focused on like doing the stupid simple ads, stupid
Yep.
simple calls. I was spending all my time doing that, and I took a step back and I realized like my back end was just like a mess.
Mhm.
I don't do onboarding calls, and I didn't have anything to train my clients how to use the system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, like I got to do something about this. So last week and most of this week, I probably worked, I'd say 25 hours a week, probably,
Mhm.
just simply because I had a big mess that I needed to clean up
Yeah.
on the back end. But going forward, I plan on taking like Monday mornings, Friday afternoons, kind of like me time, we'll
Yep.
say. If I have a meeting or something, that's fine. But I plan on doing like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, intense days, like try to pack everything into those as
Yep.
much as possible. And ultimately, I'd like to be working like 10 hours a week, probably, just because I still want to be doing it, but like I don't want to really be doing all
Yo,
the
the
bad
dream.
stuff.
Making 10 hours a week, just working like Tuesdays, okay?
Yeah.
1 day a week and
Mm.
making 20,000 Canadian. Is that right?
Yeah, I plan on doing way more than that because now I realize like how I don't want to say it's little because I don't like it is a lot, but like
Yep.
when you get to a spot, it's normal, and
Yep.
like it's just like I didn't really do that much to get here. I just did the right things, I guess.
Yep.
So now just do more of the right things, fix up that back end, and just keep growing. And now I've kind of taken a page from the Jeff Lopez playbook of like finding that power partner
Yep.
to make it infinitely more scalable than just
Yep.
a one man shop kind of thing.
Well, that's what Salvador ended up doing, and he's on his
Mhm.
up and up. Centers did the same. Lopez did the same. Katie and Jordan did the same. Like once you've got a good product, okay, then it becomes a sales conversation.
Mhm.
And you end up doing this weird thing of like, you bring on a certain number of clients and then you feel the stresses. You got to fix stuff. You got to go down the mountain, repack, come back up. And it does like this type of thing. And after a while, you go, man, we figured out our product. Let's just get more customers. And it sounds like you're maybe 3 or 6 months away from simply that. And tell you what, man, it's going to be weird. Like you start doing $50,000 a month and you're like, fuck, what am I going to do with my life? Like the house just runs. Now what? And you're not picking up weird habits. You're like, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. You're like, why? Why would you do that? And it's because everything is so boring, making so much money that you have time for more brain stuff and more creative stuff. And that's when life really kicks in. And it's a damn good problem to have. And I'm super happy for you, man. Well done.
Appreciate
Very,
it.
very, very well done.
I can't wait for that day. I don't plan on doing this like forever. I'll probably sell once I get to like a certain point because I've always been interested in like real estate. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. No rush.
There's two people in the IC, and I can't share their names, but they're selling their agency. And when they sell it, they're moving into real estate. Yeah, cool. Man. I think that's the average agency journey, by the way. Build a business and then go, everything is wrong, and then build it. Everything is wrong. Oh, we nailed a product, get more sales. And once you hit a high margin, you can sell to another company that's how they grow. They just acquire companies. And then you're like, all right, I got my million. Time to cruise for a bit.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Very cool. We've got some questions, and we'll do some Q&A. And for everybody watching, if you're watching this live, the first 3 people to hashtag MattMyFace, we're going to jump on the fucking Tim Hortons. That's so funny. First 3 people to hashtag MattMyFace, you're going to get a 15-minute group call. You, total of 3 people and him, going to get on a group call, jam out, ask any questions, and just kind of like say thanks to the tribe and all that fun stuff. So first 3 people to MattMyFace. Jacob says having the job that you left, your plan B, would stunt your growth from 20K to 50K. And I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with it. Couldn't have done it last year or the year before because your product sucked, but now you're good.
100%.
A fellow named Ulysses Jr. says, how do you get paid, Matt? Do you take all the prepaid money? Is it your Stripe account? Do you send them a bill? How do the dollars get exchanged?
Yeah. So how does he get paid? He takes all the prepaid money. Yeah. So basically, and this can't apply for every niche, but for mine in particular, body contouring side, there's that initial appointment, and like that's when they'll do the consult and everything with the doc. Like these doctors sell big packages. Like they sell like anywhere between like 1 and like probably 4,000. And like it could be body contouring or just weight loss or a combination of both. So ultimately, like they don't care about that first appointment. They just care about getting like people that are semi-serious in the door, so they have that chance to kind of sell those packages that they always sell. So I take the full prepaid. That's my only fee though. No setup fee, no like tech fee, just simply the prepaid.
Easy yes, man. Easy yes. Beautiful.
Easy yes. It's basically like they're just taking free consults, except like these people are paid up and they're serious. Yeah. So I haven't had anyone complain about. Actually, I've had one person complain about taking the full amount, but that was a one-off, and they didn't really know what they were talking about. They were like brand new to the game. So yeah.
And I'll bet the positioning is like, hey, Mr. Johnson, if you're sick and tired of no shows and you only want to prepay, if you only want people to pitch that have paid money,
Mhm.
I'm a good fit for you. No startup fees, no setup fees. Get up and running in 3 days. And all that happens is you get 90% of a show rate. Our reimbursement for managing everything is we charge that person $97 and they go straight to you. And for most business owners that are worth their salt, that seems like a fair exchange because they have that dedicated marketing budget. They're trying to find the right person to give it to get the results.
Mhm.
And if you can go in and say, like, hey, man, I only get paid when you get paid, everybody's happy. And you don't take a percentage of like the upsells. That's all the client. You just get paid what is inside the funnel, right?
Yeah, so I don't take any of that. They're the ones that are taking the slight risk. Like they're the one that are fronting the ad spend. They're the one that
Mhm.
got to take the appointments, and that takes time of them, their staff, and the rest of their business. So whatever they make from that, they keep. I mean, most people probably wouldn't have an issue giving away a bit of that, but it's too easy of a yes to try to nickel and dime. I just keep doing my
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, if you're on the phone with a future client and in 30 seconds they can say yes, just get them to say yes. It's just so much easier that way than having an hour and a half long demo. And this is like you mentioned earlier, when we were charging $3,500 a month, it was 6 to 9 weeks to close a deal. It's like, holy crap, man, I got to float all that time, effort, energy, and money. It's easier to get them on an easy yes. Okay, fine, let's get started tomorrow. And then you get paid the whole way through. It's just so much better. So fantastic. Jose says, what was your journey like mastering Facebook ads, online ads, Google ads, that whole thing? Did you self-teach? YouTube took a class? What was that like? I mean, obviously you joined the Inner Circle program. Like that makes sense. But like, what was your journey to mastering this whole online advertising process?
Do you know if he's talking about like Facebook ads on the client side or like the agency side?
I'll bet it's the customer getting side.
Oh, it said my question's on the fulfillment. I
Yeah.
am by no means a master at Facebook ads. Realistically, you can look at what people are doing in the same or similar industries, make it your own. Like, I'm not saying copy, but like, I'm telling you right now, 90% of the people in your industry likely run very similar ads,
Yep.
funnels, the whole 9 yards. See what they're doing, see what's working, test it yourself, see what works for you, make it your own so it's not a copycat. And once you have like the ads that work, like it's the same for everyone. Someone comes on, they get the same ads. I change the words slightly for their business. They get the same funnel. It's the same it's the same thing. Copy and paste.
Absolutely love it. This is such a different Matt from 2 years ago or even a year ago. Like, nah, man, it's simple. Just go look and then use that. Like, there's no way. Wouldn't have happened. And now you're like, man, it's too simple. Do you find that people will, like, the complexities are ruining someone's progress? Like, are you in that camp yet? Where like, just keep doing the stupid, simple stuff, go back to the gym and do more of it type of thing? Or are you still like in the in-between, like the complexity still kind of allures me to where like maybe the answer is in there?
Yeah, I think it still lures me a bit.
Yeah.
For sure. Because always thinking like things that don't matter too much, like needs to be much better than it is. When in reality, like they don't really care. Like they just really care about the results.
Yeah.
For me, I did have to spend time on the system because like they don't care about the system per se, but the system still got to work or else they feel like everything is crumbling, right?
Mhm.
Basically just keep it simple. I'll add on to that, like literally go and search Facebook ad library, go to the Facebook ad library and just research like what other businesses competitors are doing.
Yep.
And you will very quickly see the top people are doing the exact same thing for all 150 of their clients,
So
and the
funny.
next agency are doing the exact same thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah, that's crazy cool. Last question says, what does the end customer get for that appointment, for that 89, 69, 79, 59 appointment? I'm going to answer it and then you answer it. To the best of my knowledge, it's whatever that client does. You ask them what they do, put it into a bunch of check marks on the ad, and then that's it. Or is there a different answer?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Like, I mean, I'll get a bit specific. So, like, they're doing the $89. It's an initial appointment, so they get the actual appointment. They get a consult. Usually, they have a few add-ons, like they have like a body scan, where they do like BMI and stuff like that. It's basically just a part of the sales process, but the customer is simply getting like mainly the first body contouring appointment, and after that, like the first appointment works, and they will see results usually. But if they're looking to lose like 20, 30, 40 pounds,
Yeah.
a bunch of inches around their waist, that's when like the bigger packages and the consult come into play.
And that's the client's job to have that conversation. Your job is to say, hey, what do you do on the first appointment? We'll write it out and put a price tag on it. What do you say? Is that pretty accurate?
100% correct. Yeah.
No, it's got to be more complicated. Have to do
course.
something different. I love it. I tell you what, man, like I remember being an undergrad going, there's got to be something better. And I'm so happy to hear that somebody who's in the same spot finally is building the life that they genuinely deserve. Like, this is not hard. It is hard, but it's simple. The more complexities there are, the worse it is. Just find 2 or 3 things and keep doing them again and again. And it took a long time for you to come onto the School of Jeff. And I'll tell you what, I am massively happy that you finally have. You have a business that makes arguably more money in less time than your full-time job, right?
Way
you know
more.
how to way more, a lot more actually. Yeah, like a huge chunk change. You know how to get clients and customers on the internet, which means if your entire business burnt down to a crisp today, you could be up and running in less than a week. All right. You could move anywhere in the world. All right. And your dollars are irrespective of your time. Holy shit, Matt. That is insanely cool. I'm very happy for you. And was there anything else you wanted to go over today?
No, man. It sounds insane when you kind of lay it out like that. I think that's one of your biggest skills is like actually like making things real. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. I appreciate it. I didn't really think people would be like interested in this. You know what I mean? But that's awesome. I love the comments and everything. And we'll do those sessions, and I'll do individual. So individual 15 minutes, 3 people, instead of a group, just because I got time. It's all good.
Yeah, you're only working 2-3 days out of the week, so you might as well talk to somebody. I love it. Very cool. So over the weekend, everybody that I choose, I'm going to introduce you. Make sure you're taken care of. Be sure to hashtag MattMyFace, and I'll do a group introduction and all that. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, too late. You had the time. You had to during the whole interview to ask it. But Matt is a valued member of the community. He's part of the IC. And Matt, I genuinely hope that your business grows to where you can say, screw it, I'm going to sell it and escape the matrix forever. Well done, buddy.
Thank you.
You got it. Don't hang up. We're gonna offboard in 2 seconds, but I'll see y'all later. All right. See you, everybody. Peace out.
See you, peeps.